Welcome everyone. Today in this video, we'll go and try to understand how API monitoring works and how you can use the feature. So we recently launched the feature in launch week 4, which helps you basically to dive deeper into all the external calls that your services are making to any other API domain and API endpoint. So, for example, when you click on API monitoring and you land on this landing page, you see all the domains which are being called and also the corresponding error percentage. If I try to sort that by error percentage, I see that all these API domains are being called with this particular error rate. And if you want to hide internal IP address, you can just click on it and it will just hide all the internal IP domains. Now, once you do that, what you can do is you can maybe click on a specific domain. Now, if I come to this domain, I see a lot of details. So I see details around how many external API calls have been made, what is the average latency, when was that endpoint last used, and here we see the dependent services, the call response status, rate over time, latency over time. And if I click on top 10 errors, this go ahead and show me all the error that's happening for that endpoint. Clicking on the specific error takes me to the corresponding trace where that error occurred, just like this. Now, if I come back here and want to see maybe for some specific endpoint what's happening, so I can select that endpoint and look at the call response status, latency grouped by response status code. Also, I can zoom into some specific part of it and then click here and go to the corresponding traces if I want to understand a specific thing around that time range. Now, the same trace navigation is available at um, all the rate calls and the latency over time. And once you come here, you can also go to the dependent services, meaning once you get the stats about which services are calling that particular endpoint, from there you can go to that specific service and see the APM for that particular service. Now coming back to the API monitoring page, it also gives you the endpoint and corresponding port, just like that. Maybe take a look at another endpoint. So for this particular API domain, there are like multiple endpoints that we are calling. And let's say if I come and click at this particular event, I see a lot of errors are happening here and also the dependent service. Similarly, let's go to maybe Reddit. For Reddit domain, I'm calling this 3 different endpoints. This is the number of calls and the total error percentage, corresponding endpoint stats for the whole detail for the whole domain, and if I select any specific endpoint, then the stats for that particular domain. So this is like one way for you to understand what's happening in all the external third-party API calls, right from your API Explorer page. Basically, here you see all the domains. Then you can select a domain, get the endpoints, select an endpoint, and understand what's happening there, or maybe understand what's happening across all endpoints for a given domain. Now, another way for you to explore this is maybe if you are already in the APM page and you want to see, for example, what's happening with API demo service. So I want to understand all the external API calls that are being made by API demo service, what's happening with them, right? So here I see that API demo service is calling a multiple domains, and then I want to maybe click on a specific domain at a given time range. I can go ahead and click there. I can come and see the traces. Yes. Now we are also going to add how you can navigate from the given domain right from here. So once you click here, you directly land on the API mounting page. So that's it for today. Feel free to reach out to our Slack and hope you like the feature.